Hello out there to everyone in social media world. This is Dana Stevens, or AKA Brother Dana, coming to you from Chicago. I wanted to take this moment to simply share my testimony in how I, a Gentile white male who grew up in a conservative evangelical community, how I became awoken to who the true chosen people of God are, the true Hebrew Israelites really are. And to share the entire story, I will start back in 1994 of January, when I came to Chicago to attend Moody Bible Institute to pursue my youth ministry degree so that I could be a camp director out in the wilderness, out in a camp setting. And that was January, and in that March of 1994, I was invited to attend a church, which I later found as I journeyed there, in the Austin community on the west side of Chicago, which, if you don't know Chicago, is a black inner city community. And after the church service, as I was walking back to the train, I had an encounter with 5 young black men that when they passed me, they used ice chunks, their fists and their feet, to beat me up, leave me in the snow, which wasn't what impacted me the most, but it was the young man's words when he said, "Welcome to racism," and then they ran off. Those words impacted me to such a degree. The Lord pricked my heart so much with that I began to desire to understand exactly what that young man meant by racism. And so 25 years later, I live still in an inner city community. I did not go into a camp setting, but I have been on a journey in finding out what that racism meant. And in this journey, I have seen white primacy, white privilege, the systematic racism, the injustice of our so-called correctional facility, oppression. I have seen how our so-called black brothers and sisters have been so mistreated, not only in the United States, but even across the globe, which for many years, at least the last 15, 16, 17 years, I have questioned God to the point that I began to believe that He Himself hated black people. Because why else would those who have even come into the faith of Jesus Christ and Christianity still live under the injustices and the oppression of white privilege and white supremacy and the racist systematic system of white America? Young men that were prospering and doing great things are wrongfully sent to prison, shot down. Maybe Christianity was right when they said blacks are cursed under the curse of Ham. Well, in July of 2016, I was sitting up in bed and again kind of pondering the injustices and the police brutality and all the stuff that is going on. And I began to question God again, to God, what is the answer? There has to be a reason. And I can't let it go until one day you give me a peace about why this happened. And I heard a voice, not an audible voice, but the same voice that I heard when it called me to Him. And this voice said, "My son, I'm going to answer that question." And He said, "My son, they are my true chosen children. They are the true chosen people of me." And to back up that voice, He led me to Deuteronomy chapter 28, where in the first time in my life, those words bounced off and penetrated my heart, and I wept when I finally after all these years, got an understanding to why our so-called black brothers and sisters in this country and around the world are so mistreated, and especially in this country are so oppressed. It's because they are the true chosen people of the Most High God. They are the true Hebrew Israelites that are in another Egypt of America under a 400-year curse due to the disobedience of their forefathers, and that the Jews that we have thought have been fooled by are not the true chosen people, but they are what Revelations talks about as the imposters, Jewish, like something but not the real something. But our Hebrew Israelites of today are our so-called black brothers and sisters, and that answer finally came. I wasn't brainwashed, I wasn't coerced, I wasn't in a camp, but I was sitting in bed, again asking God after 16, 17, 18 years a question to why are our black brothers, so-called black brothers and sisters, so hated, even those that have given their life to you? And the answer came. And so now I know my calling. I know and I understand why I was encountered by those 5 young black men that day. It wasn't to hurt or to harm me, but to grant me the privilege and the honor for my eyes and my heart to be open to the truth, to who the true chosen people of the Most High God, or Yah, really are. And they are our so-called black brothers and sisters. Deuteronomy chapter 28. And so that is my testimony, how I, as a white male Gentile, grown up in a conservative evangelical Christian community, how my eyes were open and heart open to the truth of who the true Hebrew Israelites really are. And I will now live my life to not only defend them as so-called black or African Americans, but now defend them as who they truly are, not by a byword, but by their identity, their true identity. The true Hebrew Israelites, the precious chosen people of the Most High Yah. www.onelovesociety.love, that's onelovesociety.love, to get even those of you who want more answers, and even to my Gentile sisters and brothers, our season, our favor, as the word declares, has now coming to an end. And it is time for us to recognize who the true chosen people are and begin to acknowledge, repent, and now repay. Thank you. Shalom.